Some families build you up, others build themselves up on top of you. For 28 years, Alex Martinez was the foundation everyone stood on, and no one saw. The auditorium felt vast when you were 8 years old and alone. Alex's fingers trembled above the piano keys, the opening notes of Für Elise echoing through empty rows of red velvet seats. 3 months of practice, 3 months of dreaming about this moment, 3 months of his parents promising they'd be there, but they weren't. Somewhere across town, Ryan was getting his ankle examined at the emergency room, a twisted ankle from soccer practice that somehow required both parents, leaving Alex to perform for chairs and shadows. His teacher, Mrs. Chen, stayed behind, her kind eyes watching from the wings as Alex played every note perfectly to an audience of nobody. That was the moment Alex learned the math that would define his childhood. Ryan's needs would always be greater than Alex's achievements. Ryan's pain would always eclipse Alex's joy. Ryan's tomorrow would always matter more than Alex's today. The pattern started small, the way all cruelties do. When Alex begged for coding camp that summer, his mother sighed with the weight of a woman carrying the world. "Too expensive, mijo. You can learn computers at the library." But when Ryan wanted baseball camp just weeks later, the $2,000 check was written without hesitation, without discussion, without the heavy sigh that had become Alex's soundtrack. Alex learned to code his personality like debugging software, remove anything that caused family conflicts, optimize for their happiness, run silent in the background. But you can't debug your soul forever. Eventually, the whole system crashes, years blurred into a rhythm of quiet disappointments. Alex's science fair victory at 13, the trophy that would sit forgotten on top of the refrigerator while the family celebrated Ryan landing a small part in the school play, the applause that never came, the pride that was always reserved for someone else, the love that felt rationed, portioned out in smaller and smaller pieces until Alex wondered if there was any left for him at all. In those empty auditoriums of his childhood, Alex learned to applaud his own victories. He learned to package his hurt into neat silences that wouldn't disturb the Ryan show. He learned that being seen was a luxury he couldn't afford, and being heard was a privilege that belonged to others. But most dangerous of all, he learned to believe it was normal. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, if you've ever wondered why your achievements echo in empty rooms while someone else's mediocrity gets standing ovations, this story is for you. Subscribe to Heart Stories, where unheard voices finally find their stage. Because every family has a foundation, and it's time the foundation spoke. What Alex didn't know was that the worst was yet to come, that the boy who learned to disappear would one day have to choose between staying invisible and staying alive. And that choice would cost him everything he thought he wanted, to gain everything he never knew he needed. College was supposed to be freedom. Instead, it became a masterclass in invisible servitude. While Ryan studied film at USC with every expense covered, living in a luxury dorm with monthly allowances flowing like clockwork, Alex worked double shifts at the campus IT help desk. His fingers, raw from hours of fixing other students' computers, would shake as he transferred grocery money to his brother's account at 2 in the morning. The call always came the same way. Ryan's voice, thick with tears and defeat, painting pictures of failed auditions and crushed dreams. The latest crisis always required the same solution. Money Alex didn't have, for problems Alex didn't create, for a brother who never asked how Alex was surviving. That particular night, Alex had been living on peanut butter sandwiches for 6 days. His stomach had stopped growling sometime around day 4. Resignation settling into his bones like winter cold. Marcus, his boyfriend, found him passed out in the dorm hallway, keys still clutched in his hand, laptop bag spilled across the floor. Marcus's voice cut through the fog of hunger and exhaustion. "When did you last eat a real meal?" Alex tried to form words, tried to explain about Ryan's emergency, about family responsibility, about duty that felt heavier than the textbooks crushing his spine. But Marcus had grown up as the forgotten child in his own Asian family, watching his parents pour everything into his doctor brother while dismissing Marcus's marketing dreams as frivolous noise. "Alex, you're killing yourself for people who wouldn't split a pizza with you." The words landed like stones in still water, creating ripples Alex couldn't ignore. But family loyalty ran deeper than logic, stronger than self-preservation, more persistent than the gnawing emptiness in his stomach. Graduation day crystallized everything Alex had learned to accept. Ryan's USC ceremony became a family pilgrimage. Flights to Los Angeles, hotel rooms, celebration dinners, photo sessions that would live forever on his mother's Facebook wall. "So proud of Ryan chasing his dreams," the caption would read, accompanied by pictures of the whole family beaming beside the film school graduate. Alex's graduation happened on a Tuesday. His parents couldn't attend because Ryan had an important audition that required moral support. His father's text message arrived 3 hours late, 2 words that felt emptier than the auditorium where Alex had learned to play piano for no one. "Congrats, now go make money." The diploma felt weightless in Alex's hands, meaningless without witness, achievement without acknowledgement. He took a selfie in his cap and gown, sending it to a family group chat that would never respond. The silence that followed wasn't surprise. It was confirmation of everything Alex had always known but never dared to speak. Later, Marcus would find Alex sitting on his dorm room floor, still wearing his graduation gown, staring at his phone like it might suddenly ring with the pride he'd spent 4 years earning. "They didn't even ask what you're doing next," Marcus whispered, pulling Alex close. "They just assume you'll keep being their safety net." The realization that love could be conditional, that family could be transactional, that worth could be measured only in what you provided rather than who you were, settled into Alex's bones like lead. He was learning that some families don't celebrate your success. They harvest it. They don't build you up. They build themselves up on top of you, using your achievements as stepping stones for someone else's dreams. And the most tragic part wasn't the neglect. It was how normal it all felt. How completely Alex had accepted his role as the invisible foundation, the reliable one, the son who would always be there to catch everyone else while no one thought to catch him when he fell. Sometimes the deepest wounds aren't the ones that bleed. They're the ones that teach you to expect nothing. So you're grateful for scraps. Denver felt like breathing for the first time. Alex's apartment was small but carefully chosen. Every piece of furniture earned through 12-hour coding sessions and technical expertise that finally meant something. His plants thrived on the balcony. His books lined the shelves in perfect order. And for brief moments, he could almost forget the weight of obligation that followed him everywhere. The tech company recognized talent when they saw it. Alex's code was elegant, his solutions innovative, his dedication unquestionable. Within 2 years, he was pulling 6 figures, living independently, building the life he'd always imagined. But success, it turned out, only made him a more valuable ATM to his family. Ryan had moved to Los Angeles to make it as an actor and influencer. The dreams were large, the talent questionable, and the financial disasters constant. Every month brought new emergencies that somehow became Alex's responsibility. Rent money, professional headshots, gym memberships for staying camera ready, acting classes with coaches who promised connections but delivered nothing except bills. The calls always came at inconvenient moments. Alex debugging critical software at work, his phone buzzing with another crisis, his mother's voice, honeyed with manipulation, would paint pictures of Ryan's struggles, his potential, his need for just this one favor that would change everything. The amounts grew larger as Alex's success became more apparent. 500 here, 1,200 there, 800 for equipment that would launch Ryan's career into the stratosphere. Then Michael Chen walked into Alex's life like sunlight through storm clouds. A marketing director with steady eyes and a smile that didn't want anything except Alex's company. Michael understood ambition, understood success, understood the satisfaction of building something meaningful with your own hands. But Michael also understood something else, something that would eventually crack Alex's carefully constructed world wide open. Michael had been the forgotten child in his own Asian family. While his parents poured resources and pride into his brother, the doctor, Michael's marketing career was dismissed as frivolous noise. He recognized the pattern in Alex's life with the clarity of someone who had lived it, survived it, and learned to name it. Their relationship grew in quiet moments. Coffee shops where Alex could talk about code without explaining why it mattered. Dinners where conversation flowed both ways instead of being drained in one direction. Weekend mornings where Alex didn't check his phone, didn't wait for the next emergency, didn't calculate how much money he could spare from his grocery budget. But the family calls kept coming. Ryan's latest influencer campaign had failed. His car needed repairs. His roommate had moved out, leaving him short on rent. Each crisis arrived with the same expectation, the same assumption that Alex would handle it because Alex always handled it. The family had coded him into their system as a resource to be accessed, not a person to be considered. Michael watched it happen with the patience of someone who understood exactly what Alex was losing. The way Alex's shoulders would tense when his phone rang. The way conversations would stop mid-sentence when a text arrived from home. The way Alex would disappear for hours, handling another crisis, solving another problem, funding another dream that wasn't his own. The confrontation came on a Tuesday evening. Alex's laptop open on the kitchen table. Another transfer pending on his bank account. Michael's voice was steady but final. "I watched you die a little bit in that restaurant. I know that death because I lived it for 25 years. You want to save your family? Start by saving yourself." The ultimatum landed like a physical blow. "I love you, but I won't watch you disappear. Either you set boundaries or I walk. Not because I don't care, but because I care too much to enable this." Alex stared at the screen, cursor blinking over the confirmation button. $800 to keep Ryan's dreams alive. $800 to keep the peace. $800 to avoid being labeled selfish, ungrateful. The brother who turned his back and when family needed him most. For the first time in his life, Alex canceled the transfer. But in families where love is transactional, refusing to pay always comes with a price. And sometimes the price is discovering who really loves you and who just loves what you provide. The hardest lesson isn't learning that some people will use you. It's learning that standing up for yourself might cost you everyone who never stood up for you. Capitol Grill downtown Denver gleamed with the kind of understated wealth that whispered rather than shouted. 20 guests filled the private dining room for Ryan's 26th birthday. Crystal glasses catching light from chandeliers that had witnessed countless celebrations. Alex sat among extended family and Ryan's industry friends, watching his brother hold court like a king among subjects. Michael had wanted to come. Alex had said it was family only, but the truth tasted bitter in his mouth. He wasn't ready, wasn't brave, still couldn't imagine introducing the man he loved to a family that had never asked if he loved anyone at all. Ryan commanded attention effortlessly, spinning stories about upcoming projects and important connections. His voice carried the confidence of someone who had never been told his dreams were too expensive, his ambitions too frivolous, his needs too much. The photographer circled the table, capturing moments that would live forever on social media, proof of a life lived large on someone else's dime. Then Jake, one of Ryan's industry friends, leaned over during dessert, his whispered words hitting Alex like a physical blow. "Dude, Ryan's been telling everyone you're his manager and financial backer. He's been using your success story to get meetings." The room tilted. Alex's fork clattered against his plate as understanding crashed over him like cold water. Ryan hadn't just been taking his money. He had been stealing his identity, trading on Alex's achievements, selling Alex's story as his own to advance a career built on lies. The leather bill folder felt heavier than Alex's laptop bag after 14-hour coding sessions, heavier than the silence when he told them about his promotion, heavier than all the words he'd swallowed at family dinners when they praised Ryan's creativity and dismissed his computer work. $2,400 stared back at him like an itemized invoice for his invisibility. Tax included. His mother rose with champagne glass in hand, voice warm with pride that had never been directed at Alex. To Ryan, my pride and joy, the son who lights up every room. The words landed like stones in still water, creating ripples that reached every corner of Alex's carefully constructed composure. Standing ovation. Relatives wiping tears, phones recording the moment. Alex clapped politely while fire burned in his chest, while 28 years of being invisible crystallized into this single moment of public humiliation. The waiter slid the bill toward Alex with practiced discretion. His mother's voice cut through the applause like a blade. Alex will take care of it. Of course, he's the responsible one. Nervous laughter rippled through the room. Someone whispered that it wasn't right, but whispers don't stop bullets. And this felt like dying. Alex stood slowly, the weight of every transferred dollar, every sacrificed meal, every dream deferred pressing down on his shoulders. His voice, when it came, was steady as bedrock. If Ryan is your pride and joy, let your pride and joy pay tonight. The silence that followed had gravity, pulling every conversation into its center. His mother's smile thinned to a blade edge. Don't embarrass us. Just handle it like always. You didn't just take my money, Ryan. Alex's words cut through the tension like broken glass. You took my story. You let them think my achievements were yours, that my work was funding your dreams by choice, not manipulation. Ryan's face crumpled like wet paper. I never said. You didn't have to say it. You let them believe it. You sold my identity for your opportunities. The confrontation escalated with each exchange, voices rising above the soft jazz that still played from hidden speakers. Family members shifted uncomfortably, some pulling out phones, others staring at their plates like prayer books. Alex placed exact change for his meal and tip on the table, sliding the leather folder toward his mother like a legal document. This isn't about money. It's about being treated like an ATM instead of a son. Respect is the price of admission. Without it, doors close forever. Every step toward the exit felt like shedding skin. 28 years of being the good son, the reliable one, the one who never complained. His footsteps on marble echoed louder than any words he'd ever spoken in that family. For the first time, his silence wasn't compliance. It was choice. Outside, Denver's cold air cut through his anger like truth through lies. Alex pulled out his phone, thumb hovering over Michael's contact. The man who had warned him this moment would come. The man who had offered ultimatums wrapped in love. The message was simple. It's done. Come home. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't facing your fears. It's finally admitting that the people you've been protecting don't deserve your protection. And the love you've been fighting for was never really love at all. 12 months. That's how long it took to rebuild a life from the ashes of family expectations. Month 1 brought complete estrangement. Alex's phone buzzed with angry texts demanding apologies, explanations, reasons why he had humiliated everyone at Ryan's birthday. He learned to let them ring unanswered. Each ignored call a small victory over 28 years of conditioning. Month 2. His father reached out tentatively, voice careful over coffee shop background noise. His mother sent passive-aggressive texts wrapped in religious guilt. Ryan lost his Los Angeles apartment and called Alex drunk at 3 in the morning, words slurring into accusations and pleas that fell on voicemail. Month 3 brought the video call that would change everything. Alex sat in his Denver apartment, laptop open to faces gathered in his childhood living room. His parents flanked Ryan on the familiar couch, the same couch Alex had bought them 2 Christmases ago. I need to tell you something I should have said years ago. His voice carried steady across digital space, across years of silence, across the chasm he was about to make deeper. I'm gay. I have a boyfriend. His name is Michael Chen. He's a marketing director, and I love him. The silence that followed had weight, pressing against his screen like physical force. His mother's face crumpled. His father stared at hands folded in his lap. Ryan, for once in his life, had nothing to say. This is because we didn't support you enough. His father's voice cracked like old wood. No, Dad, this is because I finally learned to support myself. The explosion came in waves. Disappointment dressed as concern, religious objections wrapped in love, cultural shame painted as family honor. Some relatives would never speak to him again. Others, quietly, reached out with support that surprised him. Month 4 brought family therapy sessions where Alex attended virtually while his parents sat in an office hundreds of miles away. Dr. Rodriguez, patient and experienced, guided conversations that felt like surgery without anesthesia, cutting away infected tissue to find what might still be healthy underneath. The healing wasn't linear. Month 6 brought his first dinner with just his father. Awkward silences broken by tentative questions about Alex's work, his life, the man he loved. Month 8, Ryan appeared on Alex's doorstep with grocery store flowers and an apology that took 3 attempts to get right. I knew you were supporting me, but I never said thank you. I never asked if you were okay. I just took. Ryan's voice carried weight it had never held before. Responsibility that looked foreign on his features. Month 12 arrived with Christmas Eve dinner at Alex's apartment. Michael cooked while Alex set the table. Domestic harmony that had taken a year to build. The doorbell brought his father with a small gift. Ryan with store-bought dessert he'd actually purchased himself. His mother entered last, hesitant, carrying homemade tamales that smelled like childhood and forgiveness. These were your grandfather's favorite recipe. He would have wanted you to have them. Alex's throat tightened around words that wouldn't come. His mother continued, voice barely above whisper. I don't understand everything, mijo, but I'm trying to understand you. The dinner wasn't perfect. Conversations still carried careful weight. Topics still required navigation. His mother struggled with Michael's presence, called him Alex's friend instead of boyfriend. But she stayed, she ate, she asked Michael about his work and listened to the answer. Some extended family had cut contact permanently. Some relationships would never fully heal. But growth, real growth, requires accepting that not everyone will join you on the journey toward truth. Ryan now worked at a production company. Entry level, but honest. He split checks without being asked, paid his own rent, built a life that belonged to him instead of being subsidized by someone else's sacrifice. The change wasn't dramatic, but it was real. Alex learned that family isn't just about sharing DNA. It's about sharing truth. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop pretending to be smaller than you are just to fit in spaces that were never meant for you. As snow fell outside their Denver apartment, Alex watched Michael laugh at something his father said, watched Ryan help clear dishes without being asked, watched his mother awkwardly but genuinely try to connect with the life Alex had built. Perfect, no, but real. And sometimes real is all the foundation you need. Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and living your truth? How did you find the courage to set boundaries with people you love? Share your story in the comments below. If this resonated with you, subscribe to Heart Stories for more tales of courage, boundaries, and the difficult journey toward authentic living. Because every voice deserves to be heard, and every story matters.